Hi, welcome to the natural gas technical analysis. Let's give you the outlook heading into next week because I think you are going to have some opportunities here based on the structure that we are definitely going to talk about. So, what I want you to do is if you're brand new to natural gas or you've been trading natural gas for a while, follow along, mark up your charts the exact same way that I mark up my charts so that way you understand where these key zones and levels are going to be. Because if price moves in a particular direction that I think will happen possibly this week, then you're going to set yourself up for massive success with natural gas. So we are sitting on the daily time frame. Okay. And the first thing I want you to kind of see here, and I'm going to zoom in, is this candle, the way that the Friday candle close. We came a little bit lower, but we can see that we began to have some buying potential and some buyers possibly coming in as of Friday afternoon. Now, this is a very interesting trend line right here. Okay. So when we look at this daytime trend line, we've seen this retracement happening from here to here, right? That was a pretty nice retracement from this basically 4.0 level all the way right back down to where we are now, kind of this 3.00 level or so. So we had the touch there, and let me grab the circle. Okay, we had the touch there, came close, and then we are here. So this now becomes a very valid trend line. So now that we've established that trend line, I want to begin to look at some of these levels, okay, with regards to the SNRs, the support and resistance. We can definitely see the bounce happening there at that level. And I'm also going to be talking about this particular level right up in here. Okay, we've got the rejection there. Okay, we've got support there. So as we zoom in, we're going to take a look at this level. And I also want to focus in on this existing gap that is sitting right in here. Now, before we do that, let's take a look at some of the kind of key news and out there with regards to natural gas futures nears key support, and we are now there. Okay, it definitely traded lower on Friday. A rebound could spark technical buying, but a break below may drive prices towards that 200-day moving average, which is sitting down at about 2.694. And we'll take a look at that in a minute. With weather-driven demand set to decline, traders remain cautious about near-term direction. So obviously natural gas is very impacted by the global weather, especially here in the United States. We're not seeing the cold weather like we did over the past 2 weeks. So again, the demand might be on the lower side for natural gas, and that might continue to bring prices a little bit lower. But I'm going to show you the next trend line here in a minute that we could expect a bounce off if price breaks below the current level that you see. Hey, and don't forget, if at any point in this video you are getting value, you can definitely hit that like button for me. That's all you need to do. I greatly appreciate that. And make sure you check out the ticker scrolling at the bottom for some more natural gas news as well. And if you're brand new here, subscribe, turn on your notifications. We want to help you make some money in the market the right way, the slow way, because everyone is trying to do it too fast. And that's why most traders do not succeed. So let's get back into the chart now, and let's give you this next level right in here. Okay, now we do want to kind of take a look at this trend line right here. We had a high there, okay, and we had a couple of kind of touch points right in here, and this is where we're beginning to look if we do see that price does break. Okay, let me kind of come up here. Okay, if we do break a little bit lower, then we might be looking at around this level right in here. Okay, so if price does, and I'm going to change that color, turn red, meaning if we break below, okay, that 2.97 baseline there, that support level there, then we might see price kind of come on down to this next level right here, right around that 2.87. Okay. But again, depending on where we gap on Sunday, if we gap, and what happens in the first few days of the market, okay, if we are going to make a run at this gap, then on the daily, we are going to need to see this price here. And let's change this to green. We are going to need to see this price action above the 3.22, okay, to basically head back up there and close the gap. Now, let's take a look at this from a kind of a fundamental standpoint or a technical standpoint. Let's bring in our good friend here, Fibonacci. Let's kind of take a look at where price first kind of began to take off from these lower levels down in here. And let's draw a fib level. And you can see that we did cross just underneath the 61.8, but we are still above the 88.6. So we're in that healthy retracement area of right around the 78.6, which is usually when we begin to look for signs of exhaustion on this wave down. And are we beginning to see the next major push up? Okay, so that's an interesting fib level. When I get rid of the fibs and we look over to our left, we can see here that this is a pretty nice supply zone, okay, supply and demand zone. More times than not, when price has been down here since December of 24, we have reacted with a push back up, okay? And this is why this area right here is going to be critical, whether this trend line from Friday's close, which held, is going to hold into next week, or are we going to come down to the 2.87 trend line? Either way, we're not talking about a lot of point difference, but understand if we do slip below this lower trend line, we may come down to the bottom trend line and possibly then bounce at that particular point. So we are in a pretty interesting level. Now, if we head over to the 8-hour chart, this is where you can see here, right, on the different time frames, you can definitely begin to see. Now, in our trading group, and again, shout out to all of our traders in our trading group. We are 300 strong plus and growing each and every day. We had been shorting natural gas, and we talked about this liquidity area right here. Okay, so we eventually came back down to suffice basically the entire liquidity candle. And so congratulations to those traders who were also short with me, kind of targeting that particular area down of liquidity. So the good news here is that it seems like for right now, this trend line is going to hold. Okay, this very strong trend line. Okay, we did see a bullish action in the last 8 hours of trading, kind of override and close right above the last bearish 8-hour candle. So there's a significant push here, which leads me to believe unless the market on Sunday gaps, which on natural gas usually gaps pretty largely to the downside, okay, then they will come back up to close that gap and then eventually target that gap. But we are going to trade within these two levels for right now, and until we don't get a candle to close above a 4-hour or 8-hour, right, we have to then treat this as the next major level of resistance. But if you just look over to the left, you can see that it seems like natural gas may come up, may retest, but we're going to see early in the week if they're going to begin the climb to head back up towards 3.2 or so, and will they fill that gap? So as we look at the 4-hour level, we can see here again, this is where liquidity came all the way down to, and they basically grabbed 100% of their liquidity back. And if we look at the 4-hour candles, well, again, we can begin to see a lot of uncertainty here, right? But once we break this level right here, okay, I would tell you that you could begin to look for a long position, right back up to the first level, of course, but the ultimate target would be the gap with a close below that wick and this particular zone, still keeping it a 2-to-1 risk to reward. So in essence, this would turn into a buy stop order. So at this point, okay, because where the market is at, I'm not interested in shorting natural gas. I would be looking only to buy natural gas. We had been shorting natural gas down to this liquidity zone. I believe they've met that already. So again, if we get a push down, I'll be looking for a longer swing down in this area. If we were to start right now from here, I would tell you this would look like a good buy order to eventually bring back up price to close this existing gap that we still have here that has not been closed. So we're going to label that as an open gap. And if you're in the trading club, you are not only going to get my trade alerts, but of course you're going to get all of these charts ready for you. So make it easy for you to trade as well. So that is kind of the early outlook here as we are looking at natural gas. And so if you're brand new to natural gas, this has been coined the widowmaker because it could really stay in one direction for a long time. There are still gaps open from January 2023 that have not closed. So again, we are very, very cautious. We trade all the gaps, natural gas, crude oil indices, gold, every Sunday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live inside of my private community. And again, you can find that information on the website above. But if you're trading on your own, just use caution with natural gas because it's very, very volatile. And so I would encourage you to use a very small lot size. Like this is like extra, favorite dessert if it closes for you quickly, because natural gas is very volatile and can stay open for a little bit. So if you're on futures, trade some of the micro contracts. And if you're on the Forex account, just trade some small lot sizing on natural gas. Okay, hope you got some value. If you did, where's the camera? Hit the like button for me. And if you're brand new, I hope to see you watching and interchanging on future videos. If there's other videos that you would like me to cover, other symbols, other commodities, drop them down below in the comments. I'll respond back to you, and then I'll add that to my list. As you know, I'm mainly a crude oil trader, but we do trade everything inside of our trading club. Very big on the indices as well. Hope to see you soon. Have a great and safe trading week, and God bless to you and your families.